Hello again. We looked at some games from Vi kan se tournament in Holland. Now it's time for a tournament in Denmark, in Skanderborg, and it's played half a year after the previous games. It's 2005, it's 18th of October, and he plays a player called Baadur Jobava from Georgia. Jobava is an interesting player, famous to play weird, strange openings, and used to play quite good games. He had some good period where he was up at 2700, but this is before that, so he's now at 2600, so that's also a good rating, of course. So let's see what happens. In the game, Magnus plays the Queen's Indian defense, and Jobava plays a little bit an unusual line here with Bishop G5. So apparently this is not played so much, but Jobava has tried this also against. Looks like he played this one against Ivanchuk 5 months before. So Magnus might have done some preparation, and he probably knew about that game. So they are playing. Jobava is playing a bit interesting here. It's obviously that Magnus would like to get the setup known as the hedgehog. It's called the hedgehog because next move for black is a6, and these pawns are covering like these squares like a hedgehog's picks. So next is bishop here, just put out the pieces, and to try to disrupt the flow, Magnus would probably win a long hedgehog games against Jobava, of course, if it would be slow maneuvering. So Jobava want to change the character of the game, and he does that by playing like this and e5. So let's see how this changes the character of the position. It looks like computer prefers g takes f6 here. So it will also become an exchange sacrifice if white does like this. And now black has good compensation for the exchange if white whatever white does. Black has, he only has one pawn, but he has good grip on the dark squares here. In the game, Magnus takes with a bishop instead, which the computer doesn't like. And I guess the reason is because now white can try to trade off this strong dark squared bishop. So it would obviously be better for black to keep the dark squared bishop and the knight. So white has, because of Magnus' inaccuracy, white has an advantage here according to the computer. But now white makes an inaccuracy. Apparently a3 was best to try maybe to trade some pawns and get out the queen. Maybe try to get out the queen. If black takes, the queen can come out. But he does that, and he also does that, so he wants to get out his queen, but it allows black to get some tempo to develop the knight to a strong square. Magnus offering the exchange of queens here. And interestingly, despite Jobava, Magnus only has one knight for for a knight and a pawn for the rook, but the knight is in a very dominant position at d4. So it's interesting that the computer does not want to trade queens. For a human, it looks natural for white to trade the queens here. Black, he has 1 point advantage because, you know, rook is square 5, knight 3, pawn 1. So he has a 1 point advantage. Then you should trade the pieces and win. But the computer thinks that black is better now because he has such a dominant position with his pieces now. So let's see how Magnus wins this game despite being 1 point down. Covering b4. And f4 is interesting. I guess the plan is to get next pawn to f5 and try to advance later. And it seems black is already winning now, which is not easy to understand for a human, but Magnus probably understood that with his superior positional, his superior understanding of the position. He probably understood that this endgame is very good, but Jobava, who doesn't maybe assess the position as accurately, thought this was good for white. So it's very interesting to see that Magnus was correct and the computer agrees with his positional judgment here. And because now e4 is coming and that e-pawn is very, very scary. And an active king in the center. Nothing Jobava can do here. It's already minus 6. He tries to give back the exchange here, but now the f-pawn is too strong. Maybe queen c3 and probably king c3 and rook a1 is coming. So that's very impressive. A very impressive game, especially this one that he realized that this endgame is better for black, so he wants to trade the queens. That's really impressive stuff. Okay, see you next game.